Easter, the most enjoyable holiday for millions of Christians. A holiday where your children start their adventurous journey towards finding sparkling Easter eggs. But have you ever wondered what could really go wrong on Easter? Well, in 1916 on Easter Day in the country of Ireland, there was an unfortunate event. Let's go back 71 years prior to this event. Between 1845 to 1851, 2 million people were dead and nearly 500,000 were forced to emigrate from Ireland. The population of Ireland has never since reached its pre-famine level of around 8 million. Potatoes were the staple food source of the growing population at that time. But when a plant disease, blight, attacked potato crops, not like using a club and smashing the plants but by infecting by fungi. While the disease was widespread, people began starving to death. The British government ignored their needs and as a result, they didn't help and also forced them to export their disinfected crops. Emigration remained from this point onwards, with most emigrants going to the U.S. If you didn't know, Ireland was ruled by the British government since the 12th century and they didn't like it. You might ask about what have they tried to do to gain their independence. Home rule was one of it. When Charles Stewart Parnell was 31 years old, he became the leader of the Irish Home Rule Party, which became the Irish Parliament Party in 1882. He did not achieve home rule, but he was recognized in the House of Commons. One home rule bill was passed in 1912, but it wasn't brought into law. And in 1914, the Home Rule Act was suspended due to the outbreak of World War I. Many Irish nationalists believed that they would get home rule if they supported the British in the war. The leader of the Irish Parliament Party, John Redmond, encouraged people to join the military forces, and some did actually join. However, a few nationalists did not trust the British government, which led to one of the most crucial events in Irish history, the Easter Rising. Why did they decide to rebel? Injustice. Ireland has been under some form of English control since the 12th century. They lost their parliament in Dublin and was governed by a united parliament from Westminster in London. And when the Irish needed help, the British government didn't do anything to help. And of course they wanted to gain their independence. On April 24, 1916, on Easter Monday, two groups of armed rebels, around 1,600 people, planned to take their freedom from England. The rising was planned by the Irish Republican Brotherhood, also known as the IRB. The IRB persuaded the Germans to send them military equipment. And in return, the Irish supported the Germans in the war against the British. But sadly, the shipment of German arms and ammunition was blocked and taken down by the British. The Irish Volunteers, led by Patrick Pearse, and the Irish Citizen Army, led by James Connolly, seized the General Post Office and shot whoever was trying to stop them. Patrick Pearse read the Proclamation of the Republic, which declared for the Irish's independence. Then the British declared war and sent 16,000 soldiers as reinforcement troops to fight against the rebels. The British troops crushed the rebels within 1 week. The battle proceeded until the 29th of April 1916 with the surrender of the rebels. All 15 leaders, including Patrick Pearse, James Connolly, Thomas Clark, Sean McDermott, Joseph Mary Plunkett, Eamon Sen, Thomas McDonough, were executed in front of hundreds of citizens in public. It was a very violent war. 485 people were killed, 54% were civilian, 30% were British military and police, and 16% were Irish rebels. Over 2,600 people were wounded. The rebellions did not achieve their goal of independence, but they made the public opinion shift against the British government.
Created using Powtoon.